What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. This is Lone Wolf, and in this video, I want to talk to you about Kalisthene and Echthra in the Path of Ascension for the Kyrian Covenant. Alright, at humility difficulty. Now, first, here is the boss Kalisthene. Really easy. You can make certain mistakes and be okay. Super easy boss. Here I want to show you the difference between the shield and the cooldown reduction one. Obviously, with the shield, you see that there is a cooldown where I have to wait for me to reuse my basic ability. So you can see that she rarely hits me, and when she does hit me, it's not by much at all. The only thing you gotta really worry about is the thing where she goes up in the sky and it just falls down, and I'll show you. Another thing I like to do is to stand or place myself in between two things so I can just easily cast my abilities. Now, here is the most important mechanic for Kalisthene. You have to have some type of mobility here. Okay, because if you have more than two of those tethers holding you down, you will die. Okay, maybe you can survive with two and have the mobility one, but at three you can't even move. So what you want to do is use Herald's foot pad equipment for this when you're using Pelagos. Okay, I try not to get inside that tether. It does minimal damage. It's nothing to really worry about. And here again, I'm just using the shield, but I don't necessarily feel that the shield is mandatory. I think I could have gone completely fine and used the cooldown reduction one, and the fight would actually be done before her berserk. Okay, which means is after you see the timer at the top, if she reaches 0, then she becomes enraged, and then she does way more damage, moves way faster. But overall, this is the ability you got to worry about. 2 or 3 of these will completely decimate you, and your shield will not last long enough for you to just stay inside of that and not worry about getting killed. It's an impossibility. Those things hit hard and last longer than what your shield can do. So just stay out of it, and she's easy, super easy. You can see here that I've been past the timer, and she's not doing that much damage, and I finished her off. I do recommend using the cooldown reduction one and just kiting her and just completely decimating her with your abilities over and over. Not much explanation needed on the first boss. If you gotten this far in humility, then you don't really necessarily need extra tips or anything. She's pretty easy. Now for the next boss. Now that is a boss. There's a pain in the ass. This boss I was not able to do. I was not able to do this boss because Echthra feels impossible. Alright, so for Echthra, the legitimate way, I do recommend Vial of Lich Frost. That way you can keep the Spiderlings at bay, being that the Spiderlings mechanic is by far the most deadliest out of all her mechanics. The frontal cone is easy to avoid if you just keep at max range. And the little green swirls, you can just step out of them. They don't do that much damage. Just by far keep away from the Spiderlings. I found this fight to be extremely RNG dictated, where I did more than 50 tries, if not 60 tries on this boss. And I felt that there was no room for improvement. A lot of it came down to RNG. I did manage to bring her at one attempt to 7%, but that is only because the Spiderlings somehow bugged. A lot of times they feel like they just jump on you, even though there might be farther than the usual distance for them to latch on and apply the dot. Sometimes Echthra decides, even if you're ranged and she has line of sight of you, sometimes she just decides to run to you, and that's not good because of her frontal cone. And you want to continue just doing damage. Sometimes the frontal cone may seem like you have enough distance between her and you, but the frontal cone still hits you. Sometimes the placement of the spiderlings when you're casting something or whatever is very, very RNG based. I'm not a fan. I like skill to be the dictator of whether you win a boss or not. I'm not saying that I'm one of the best or anything like that at all, but being that I know what the strat is, I know what the best thing to do and what to avoid, and I try my best to do it, and yet you have to play perfect and pray to the RNGs that you're able to come through and win. Her mechanics is as follows. She gets in range. After a few seconds, she summons spiderlings. After a few seconds, she summons those swirls in the ground. And after a few seconds after that, again, summon the spiderlings. And after that is the cone. Then it just resets. All right. And she also has where those green swirls just come out of nowhere. But I'm going to show you the strat I used, which was the strat to cheese her. And this strategy is way easier, much less stress. All you do is step on a ledge, and she is not able to hit you. Now, this is the only fight I did that because it's just way too frustrating and way too RNG based. Do I feel like I can beat her? Yes. But being that I only have a limited amount of medallion of services and you can only get a limited amount per week, I decided that it's best for me to just finish her and do the rest, because the rest of the bosses are nowhere near the difficulty of this boss. Like, the second hardest boss after this chick was Mortimer, in my opinion. And even Mortimer, it took me like 10 tries, maybe 15 tries. Nothing where it was like this, where the second boss, it was over 50 tries. And at least with Mortimer, there is progression. Every time you lose, every time you do a fight, you learn something new, you continue, you apply new strategies. And this chick is nowhere near. So here, I'm stopping on one of the corner ledges. As you can see, the green stuff doesn't get applied up here. The spiderlings don't come up here, but the frontal cone does hit you. But because the other mechanics are not a problem, you don't have to worry about getting hit by the frontal cone, and the frontal cone deals no damage. So by far, this is the best strat. I don't recommend anybody doing this boss, being that if you have this much trouble with Pelagos, imagine with Clea and Mechanicals. All right, because they're melee based. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely give it a like, subscribe if you want more videos. Definitely expect more boss fights, and I'm doing this because, hey, why not, right? This is what I'm doing right now, and I'm enjoying it, and I want to put it out there regardless. All right, guys, with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.